whether right or wrong, gets pinned on the fact that these hedge funds tend to move into the same names time and time again. They move in it at the same time, they move out of them at the same time. Valeant, Apple. Allergan.
It's that's absolutely the case, and in the case of something like an Apple, one can see that occurring rationally. Where you get a little bit concerned is if you look at a stock that was immensely popular last year, an outfit called Clovis Oncology, had 34 different hedge funds owning over 40% of this oncology stock. So when you talk to a hedge fund manager, they tell you about how they have an edge in this space, and many do. An edge in mortgages, an edge in this. 34 people knew more about small cell lung cancer than the average guy, and in fact the stock went from 115 to it's now trading at 17, and they got absolutely crushed. But the reality is, how do 34 different hedge fund managers get into it? And we looked at one of the stocks that came up recently was Gaming and Leisure Group. And Gaming and Leisure is, it's a typical REIT in the gambling industry. And if we look at the names that have got it, Leon Cooperman, Paul Tudor Jones, Dan Loeb, Caxton, all these guys added it this. Came up. Some of it held it before, but they've all re-added it, and this is how it disseminates. You've got a guy with three people on the team. Well, I don't really have time to do a whole lot of that research, but I bet you Dan Loeb did a lot of it. So hey, I'll join the team. And that's what happens as this sort of Me Too trading occurs. And when things go wrong, it's a very narrow exit for the doors.
It's funny you mention that, because I was talking to one fund manager who does his homework, he does his own due diligence, and then one of his last things he does, he looks at the holders of the stock. And if a lot of hedge funds are in it, no matter how much he might like it, he actually doesn't buy it because he's worried that if hedge funds have to exit, there's literally nobody left to sell. Is that what we've seen in the last few months? In
some of these trades, yes. However, if you do look at something like the Goldman's hit list, you will find that the largest holdings in hedge funds have tended to outperform the market. So at the same time, what you're doing is deselecting the investment decisions of a Dan Loeb, of a Leon Cooperman, which are all holders, for example, in this particular stock. So it's a difficult balance. Really, I think what you want to look at it is percentage of daily trading volume and how much of it. When you've got 42% held by 34 hedge fund managers in an oncology stock that in their heart of hearts they don't know anything about, or perhaps they know tons about it, they suddenly all become oncologists. Better than the oncologists that are at the actual funds that really have it. That's where it gets ugly, is when it's a narrow door.
I wonder how much of this is due to the fact that a lot of these hedge funds have simply gotten too big and now they're being pushed into a lot of the same names. Could that be part of it?
That's absolutely part of it, and you're also getting younger. Speaking with a manager of a very prominent fund, and he says, with a lot of the platforms, you're getting younger and younger managers with less experience, and who tend to group at a higher level. When you look at the managers that just do it because they believe in it, I don't think you've seen Bill Ackman do a Me Too trade. He might do well, he might do poorly, but he's the proverbial lead dog. You look at Carl Icahn. I love Apple. Apple is a lifetime trade for me. It's a company that you'll never see once in a generation. And last month, actually, I'm not how happy they're doing in China. He doesn't care. He just doesn't care what the press thinks or what the world thinks about him. But he does what he does.